Daylight savings time is already messing up my schedule. As you can see, it's a little darker here in my garage. Well, I normally film in the morning anyways, and it's 4 p.m. I feel like I'm going to be chasing this last hour of light. I hate daylight savings. I don't like when it's dark at 5 p.m. I did buy a walking pad, however, because I like to go on my walks after work, but when it's dark, it's a little scary. And I did buy a walking pad, and it looks really good sitting behind my little bar in my kitchen. Anyways, hi. My name is Paige Wassel, and if you're new here, I like to talk shit on interior design. I like to talk about things I like in interior design. And today I'm going to talk about my 10 interior design decorating rules. Andy, put a star above my head. Ready? I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and you go, woo. Okay. Yeah, my 10 interior decorating rules. These 10 rules are kind of my 10 rules that I have right now. I feel as though interior design rules always somewhat change. And again, rules teach their own. But these are kind of my rules that I live by with interior design. So if you like my style, if you like my striped sweater and my yellow glasses and things in my house, and you like my personality and my smile, and you love when I touch my hair like this, and if you like that, then these rules are for you. So here we go. My 10 interior decorating rules, whatever the title says. First rule in my head, or actually I think this is kind of the first thing I think of when walking into a space that has already been decorated, or if I'm planning on decorating. This is my first go-to rule. I guess rule isn't the right word, but whatever. You must have at least 3 different design eras. So pause your TV now. Hold on, grab the remote. When you pause, you're going to look around and see how many different eras of interior design you have in your space. Okay, so ready, pause. And we're back. How many eras of interior design did you have? But you should have at least 3 eras of interior design. So if you're looking around and you're like, wow, my entire house is farmhouse, well, you're off to a bad start anyways, but you should have a mix of different eras. And I feel like that's how your home doesn't feel like it's time warped or all one style. So if you have a lot of modern furniture, it might be nice to add in something French country or Japandi. So you get the idea. You should always mix eras of interior design. I feel like I do a really good job at that because this is what I do. But I feel like that is kind of one of the main reasons people are drawn to my style, is because it's eclectic but clean, but it has all different eras of interior design. And sometimes I will take a look around and I'll know what's kind of missing. Like I feel like I don't have Japandi in my house, but it's like I have an Art Deco armoire in my bedroom paired with a very mid-century bedside table. You know what I mean? You all get it, right? Rule number 2, deux. You must always have the right light bulb. It is so important to have the right light bulb. Yeah, you want to make sure it's the correct wattage, it's warm. Even some of the light fixtures in my space I have at an even lower wattage. It's almost extremely dim, and it's more for, ambiance. If you look at my Lightolier lamp next to my sofa in my living room, the light bulb is so dim that I would never really turn on this lamp to like vacuum, I would more so have it on when I have people over and just creating a mood, a vibe. So you just always have to have the right bulb. Also, sometimes an amber bulb makes sense in a certain space. For example, in my bedroom, I have this like boxy light fixture on my armoire. And I used to have a regular bulb in it, but because of the shade color tone, I was able to put an amber one in there and I liked it more. You know what I mean? You could also get those color changing bulbs. Like, look how scary. That's fluorescent. Warm. Fluorescent. Blue. Purple. Okay. Never seen those. If you've been watching some of my previous videos, I talk about how a red light bulb could be fun to add. I think sometimes an orange light bulb. You can get a little kooky. You can get a little fun, but just make sure to have the correct wattage and make sure your lights are on dimmers if need be. Okay, rule number 3. Rule number 3 kind of goes with, rule number 1. It's a similar idea. So not only do you want to have at least 3 different eras of design within your home, you also want to make sure you have a nice mix of vintage and new. So let's say you're not that into vintage decor. I think you can add in touches in a way that you would like. For example, if you have a very modern home, some vintage art is always a nice little addition, or a vintage rug is a nice little addition, maybe some glassware, stuff like that. And I don't think you can really go wrong with the percentages. You could have a 90% all brand new home and then incorporate, 10% vintage or old stuff. If that makes sense, it still would look really good. My main suggestion is to not have 100% one way or the other, because again, we're just trying to avoid being in a certain era or a certain year, or you don't want to be transported in time. If you have been watching my channel for a while, you probably have more vintage than new stuff, because that's kind of my approach with design. I feel like my home probably has 60-40, 60% vintage, 40% new, but I have a lot of custom stuff. I have a vintage sofa that I reupholstered with new fabric. And then I have an old CB2 sofa that I reupholstered with vintage fabric. So to each their own, I guess. But again, this is what I'm suggesting if you want to learn from me. Rule number 4, and I feel as though this rule is a life rule in general, don't chase perfection. I feel, okay, relax. A lot of people are chasing the perfect layout and the perfect home, and they're waiting to have people over until it's all done and ready to present. But let's be honest, it's never going to be perfect. I feel as though a home is always evolving. I do think you get to a place where you're like, I'm good, I'm good with how this looks, but I wouldn't chase the feeling of having the perfect space, especially when you want to have people over. I feel like a lot of folks will be like, oh, I don't want to have, friends over until this is finished and stuff like that. I don't care about that. Don't chase perfection, especially within your home, because there really is no end point. By the time, you've been decorating it for 2 years, you honestly might want to swap out some art, or maybe you aren't as into the trendy lamp that you purchased. So it's kind of always ever evolving, and it's never going to be perfect. And I don't really like a perfect home anyways. I talk about how I like ring marks on your wood table. I like a lived-in, unperfect home. And it's never really achievable anyways. And if you see that in a magazine, it has been styled up by a prop stylist that, like me. I see what goes into creating these beautiful images in a magazine, and there's a lot. And then after the image is taken, all their crap goes right back in, and it becomes an imperfect home once again. Hello, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm not the best cook, or maybe I could be, but I don't have time. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Factor. They're healthy pre-made meals, not frozen, delivered right to your doorstep. I personally love using Factor because I am busy. So having some pre-made meals that I can pop into the microwave only takes 2 minutes. I can have them for lunch, I can have them for dinner, when I'm on the go, and I like how they're nicely portioned. So there are 80 plus rotating meals that you can have delivered to your door. They're chef created, restaurant quality. You can get your protein through beef, chicken. You can also select seafood meals that include salmon, shrimp, and there is now a customization option. So if you don't like chicken and you want to swap it with pork, you can customize. Also, the meals are super good for your gut. They're fiber rich. There's no refined seed oils. There's no refined sugars. Just healthy portioned meals that you can zap and eat. Okay, poke. Let's put it in. This one is chicken, so it goes in for 3. And then we'll take it out, remove the plastic, put it back in for 2. And she's done. And just like that, I'm a chef. So let's try out our chicken and veggies, and that does look very good, and it's steaming hot. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use my code PaigeFB50 for 50% off your first box. Plus, you get 1 whole year of free breakfast. If you're busy, you want to eat healthy, go check them out. Thank you again, Factor. I'm gonna go eat this on my sofa. Okay, bye. Rule number 5. Everybody high five right now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Actually, I heard a thing in the news, TikTok, that if you look in your bathroom mirror every morning and you high five it, you can like boost your mood. So let's try it all together. This is a very interactive video. 1, 2, 3. Good job. That's what I think you're supposed to say, like, good job, or like, you're gonna do great, sweetie. 1, 2, 3. You're gonna do great, sweetie. Yeah, wait, why was I saying? 5. Rule number 5. You should always have 1 personal touch per room. And I mean per room. Bathroom, laundry room, basement, bedroom, whatever, closet. You should always have 1 personal touch. I guess you don't need to do it in your closet, or like the laundry room is fine. But I do think it makes you feel happy when you go in and see a little framed photo of your papa. 1 personal touch per room. I guess that's that. Let's go on to number 6. Rule number 6. Paint your outdated bathroom. This is a very specific rule that made it into my top 10 just because I feel as though most of us have an outdated bathroom. And if you have an outdated bathroom, you must paint it. It's a rule. It's my rule. It just helps so much. And if you're skeptical of it, I don't know what to tell you. My brother was kind of skeptical of it when I did a video redoing his kitchen and bathroom. I told him that he needed to paint the bathroom, and he was like, I don't know, it doesn't get much light, I want to keep it white. And that's like, okay, cool, you can do that, or you can take my expert advice. I think if you have an outdated bathroom or a dark bathroom, you should just lean into it, and I just think it's the one way that you can make an outdated bathroom feel good. And I wouldn't recommend this for every room. I wouldn't say, paint your outdated kitchen. It's not the same. A bathroom is small, it's doable. It's a renter-friendly way to give an upgrade without having to paint a larger surface. Paint your outdated bathroom. And then the star signs. Rule number 7. You didn't see that. 7. Focus on function. If you have been watching my channel since the beginning of time, one of my passions, one of my hobbies, one of my passions is function. I love walking into a space, and I've realized this more as I've done more interior design projects this year. I love finding ways to incorporate more storage or function to a space and not compromising the design. So sometimes you have to, but I think focusing on the function of the space before you design it is really important. For example, my Chicago place, I had, this like outdated little guest bedroom, and I was like, how can I have this be an office and a guest bed? And that's when I incorporated the Murphy bed in the closet and then a hinge desk. I mean, I obviously used my noggin a lot to figure that one out. But if you focus on the function of the space before you decorate, I think it can be really helpful when you start pulling it all together. It just, feels better when things have spots and storage and stuff like that. Because sometimes you'll design a space and then you'll be like, well, where does this stuff go? Or this is not functional. And then you end up kind of hating the design because you can't use it as easy as you would like to. So focus on function. Number 8, a very, 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 very important rule. You know what I'm realizing filming at this time, 4:09 p.m.? People are, they're ending work early on my street. I'm on like a little street that's very tiny. Like no cars can go up and down it, just where you park. But I'm realizing everyone's like taking their dog for a walk. They're doing the things. So I can't be filming at this time. But anyways, my very important number 8 rule, you must have a kitchen lamp. It is required in the Bible. There is always a spot for a little kitchen light, whether you have to clip it onto something, whether it's just a tiny little guy, whether it's just a pretty little girl, you have to have a kitchen light. And I prefer to have mine, on my kitchen counter. It's just a rule of mine. You have to have a kitchen light. Even if it's the most updated, gorgeous kitchen, you need a kitchen light. If it's an outdated kitchen, a kitchen light is actually going to be really helpful. And this is a really good way to mix vintage and new. So if you have a really new modern kitchen, incorporating a vintage kitchen light is going to be great. But if you have a really outdated, kitchen, incorporating something a little more modern. Do you get what I'm saying here now? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Rule number 9 of interior design by Paige Wassel is do it in phases. Unless you have all of the money in the world, I mean, sure, but I really think you should do interior design in phases. You should decorate your home in phases because it's kind of nice to see how one thing comes together before you do the next thing. Just be patient with yourself and patient in the process. I think it's exciting when you can pull everything together really quickly, and sometimes you can do that, especially when you have the funds. But for me personally, I like to, get the rug, get the sofa, and kind of sit on it and then decide what I need next instead of ordering everything at once or sourcing everything at once. Don't rush into furnishing your home. Obviously, you want it livable, but there's no finish line when decorating your home, if that makes sense. There just isn't. I mean, kind of, I guess, but it's always changing. And so just be patient with yourself and do it in phases. And I think you'll be able to create a more cohesive yet eclectic home. You can think on it more. You can sit on it longer. You're not making decisions all at once. Also, your design, changes as you grow. And so if you are patient with yourself throughout the year or 2 years or 3 years, I've been here 3 years and I'm still definitely not done fully decorating to an extent. Like my bar stools need to be reupholstered. Got those maybe 2 years ago, haven't done it. So here we are. Do it in phases and have people over during those phases, because why not? Your home is cute. Trust me. As long as you put in a little effort, which actually brings me to my last rule. You should always be able to make do with what you have. There is always a way to make the space look cute. I actually learned a lot of this from my mom, who was really good at making a space that didn't have a lot, or, like my college dorm or my senior year house, which was super run down and all of us brought this random ass furniture. She was really good at pulling things together that maybe you didn't necessarily love or don't like. But you can always prop style something. You can always rearrange something. You can always add a candle to a stack of books. If you just moved into a place and don't really have furniture, which was, me at the beginning of moving here. I moved out here with not that much stuff. I put some crates on the ground and I put some, candles, and I had some people over. You can always make do with what you have, and you can always make it feel good without even spending a penny. Well, maybe give yourself like $20. Get some candles, maybe a throw blanket to put over a sofa that you don't love. You really can make any space feel good. And those are actually kind of my favorite projects when I was a prop stylist. We would go into a home or have a set or have a limited amount of objects or furniture or whatever to play with. And I loved having that limit to kind of make the space feel good with what I had in front of me. I feel like those are my favorite types of projects. And actually, I'm coming out with a video in December, and I've been working on it for a while, where I'm redoing this woman's space in Los Angeles, Marissa, shout out, hi Marissa, for $0. But we ended up getting a sponsor, so she's actually getting a free sofa, which is cool. But everything else we're selling and using that money to buy other things, and we're redecorating her space with what she has, give or take a few things, with a little bit of attention, a little bit of organization, and a little bit of prop styling, and a little candle. You can make any space feel good. I believe it. And if you trust me, which you should, I'm a very trustworthy person. Look at me. I'm wearing glasses. Yeah. Give it a try. Take a Sunday, put on some music, and light a candle. A candle really does help. And just play around. Have a glass of wine, and just be like, wow. It's like my mom and I's favorite thing to do is have a glass of wine and then just rearrange some things. And I feel like the rest of my family does get annoyed sometimes, because we'll be like, ooh, let's go do this. And they're like, can you just hang out? I'm like, no, absolutely not. Got to get my creative juices flowing. Okay, that's it. Those are my 10 rules of interior design. Look, it's already getting dark. Goddamn daylight savings. So how fun. I feel like this was pretty good and pretty encouraging. I feel like I could get into more nitty-gritty rules, but these are my everyday things when decorating a home. And guess what, y'all? I am moving next year. I am going to get a 2-bedroom. I feel like I don't need this garage anymore because I have the office, and also my landlord is selling the house. I live in a little bungalow, and he's selling it. So I'm like, I'm out of here, and I've been looking at some cool spots. I actually really liked one spot. I was talking about this in the other video, but I couldn't do it. It was a little too soon. But yeah, and then you can watch me implement these rules that I just talked about. Paint your bathroom, Kitchen lamp. All right. Usually I have low energy at this time of day to film a video, but I feel like I was moving and grooving. Maybe I'll go for a walk. Okay, this sweater's from J. Crew. Bye.